Hello and welcome to this James the Bike Guy, where in front of us is the brand new alloy Specialized Epic, or Chisel, whatever. This is a brand new bike from Specialized, a bike that, well, frankly, I didn't really expect them to make, but is super nice to see. It's a bike with chiseled proportions that seem to have come straight from last year's Epic Evo. So in this video, we're gonna go over the features and designs of this affordable alloy XC bike, as well as find out exactly what it weighs. All right, talking Specialized Chisel. Now the Chisel itself is a name that has been in Specialized lineup for a while, but it's generally been kind of their more efficient, lighter weight, alloy hardtail mountain bike. Now, many years prior to that, there was a lighter weight XC to trail bike in their lineup that kind of came in between what you'd get from a higher end performance Epic and just below what you would have gotten for trail and suspension in a Specialized stump jumper. And that's essentially what we've got here is sort of a remake of that bike, but now in a very epic-y format for somebody who's looking for a bike that's going to be that sub $3,000 price point, this particular model being that $2,600, which I know is a lot of money, but in today's full suspension mountain bike world is actually pretty affordable, and it comes with 120 millimeters of front suspension and 110 millimeters of rear suspension. And the rear suspension on this bike does look like it's pretty much pulled straight from the Epic, utilizing their flex stay design where there's no pivot out back, making this sort of a modified single pivot design, meaning the bike's going to have quite a bit of anti-squat to allow the bike to be snappy and climb well. But that anti-squat is not quite as much as what you're getting on the brand new Epic, but it's a little bit more than what you had on the Epic Evo of last generation, meaning this bike should be pretty darn snappy as it goes through. The other thing that is different about this one is this is using Specialized Delucio Smartweld technology. Now, we've seen this on road bikes such as the Allay that ran this too, but what makes Delucio Smartweld different is that the head tube, top tube, and down tube come together. They formed junction, which gives this divot where they're able to do this circular ring weld around the junction. That allows it to both be lighter as well as quite a bit stiffer. And on some of the road bikes, such as the Allay Sprint, they actually did that on the bottom bracket. Whereas on this bike, it is going through a traditional bottom bracket weld setup with a 73 millimeter BSA bottom bracket, but they have done a single piece seat tube. Now, that's going to be part of what's going to lend this bike to be a little bit lighter than its competitors, in which case Specialized claims that this is a whole 18% lighter than its most close competitor. Now, I'm not sure what competitor that is, but at the end, we're going to compare the weights to what a similar top fuel from Trek weighed on my same scale. So it'll be interesting to see the difference. Moving on from that, the bike is 29er with 29 by 2.35 fast track tires and a ground control up front. So a little bit of a more aggressive front tire, slightly less aggressive, faster rolling rear tire. You've got an alloy cockpit coming across the top, all Specialized branded components. And of course, a dropper post on the back where with just a press of a lever, you'll see the post can raise, get you into that efficient pedaling position, and then drop back down when you need to be able to go through some more aggressive and gnarly stuff. The bike does feature internal cable routing, a X-Fusion rear shock controlling that 110 millimeters of rear suspension, and controlling the front end is going to be via this Recon from RockShox. This is going to be 120 millimeter front suspension. It does give you compression adjustment, so you can lock it out, open it up, and on the left-hand side, we've got a spot for air adjustment with a small Schrader valve underneath. And then going through these 32 millimeter stanchions down through the alloy lowers, we've got an adjustment down at the bottom to be able to do your rebound. So you can speed up and slow down how quickly the front end's going to return based on your air pressure and your riding style. And it connects the front wheel via a boost 15 by 110 front through axle, and on the back, a 12 by 148 rear through axle. Speaking of being out back, we've got internal cable routing coming out right down from where the tube junction is, and a drivetrain with SRAM's NX 1 by 12 system. So this is a 11 to 52 tooth rear cassette running through a 32 tooth chainring on this SRAM SX crankset. It's unfortunate that they're running NX out back, but they stuck a SX front crank on, especially since through that threaded bottom bracket, this is running power spline, which is kind of a heavier way to attach a crank, and certainly not as nice as the rear derailleur and the rest of the drivetrain. My money would be on this would be one of the first places that I would upgrade to save even a little more weight and get a better overall system. This bike is running a relatively short 437 millimeter chainstay, and we're looking at the overall geometry of the bike. We've got a seat tube angle of 75.5, head tube angle of 66.5 degrees, and in a size large like the bike in front of us, has a stack of 620 and a reach of 470 millimeters. Now those measurements aren't going to sound overly aggressive or all that unique, but really solid modern geometry numbers for a bike that's going to be a 120-110 combination. So now that we've taken a look at some of the features and designs of this Delucio Smartweld Specialized Chisel, it's time we find out what it weighs. And the actual weight of the Specialized Chisel in a size large comes in and weighs 31.56 pounds. Thanks for joining me to check out the 2025 brand new Specialized Chisel full suspension. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. While you're at it, be sure to hit subscribe and definitely browse the channel to see more videos like this to check out as well.